Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about common ways that the narcissist sabotages you in your relationship. So to start this video off, there are a lot of ways that a narcissist can sabotage you. I'm going to talk about the most common ways that a narcissist tends to do this. Now, a lot of this is going to depend on where you're at in the relationship and what phase of the abuse cycle that you're in. So some are going to be more applicable to earlier on in the relationship, and some are going to be more applicable on if you're trying to leave the relationship, or even if you already have left the relationship, the narcissist isn't quite done with you yet. Narcissists, they don't like to necessarily end a relationship when it's not on their terms. If you're the one to leave, they don't agree or want you to leave. Kind of in their head, they come up with delusional beliefs that you are still their property and belong to them. One of the earlier ways that narcissists will often sabotage you in the relationships, this is something you can kind of look out for as potential red flag behavior, is the last minute changing of plans or late cancellations to things like dates or events that were planned in advance. This is due to the fact that narcissists are often very unpredictable people. But this tends to happen a lot in the beginning of relationships because the narcissist is kind of trying to see what they can get away with. They're kind of trying to feel you out. What are you going to tolerate? What are you not going to tolerate? Not that this behavior can't continue into later in the relationship, because it most definitely can. But it is kind of one of those early on kind of boundary pushing things that we tend to see with a lot of narcissists. When this happens later on in the relationship, it can often be the result of like trying to keep you on your toes. Trying to be unpredictable, trying to make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, like you don't know what to expect. Are they going to come? Are they not going to come? And it can be very harmful to your emotional well-being to have a partner that does this on a consistent basis. It can leave you feel confused, frustrated, and overall, it is born for this need of power and control over your well-being. Another way that narcissists can sabotage you that's quite common is financial abuse, wanting to take control of all of the finances. They often use money as a form of control, so you are dependent on them for your financial well-being. They do this to undermine your independence. They do this to take away options, like the option to leave if you want to, because you don't have access to finances to be able to leave. This can look like really insisting that you have shared bank accounts and really heavily monitoring the spending and the money going in and out of that account. Or even having accounts that you can't access even though maybe you're married. Sometimes people aren't even allowed to have their own bank account and have to give all of their money to the narcissist, so they control 100% of the finances. And you need to get permission from them if you need money. And they're also known to hide money, hide assets too. That can be another really common thing that comes up if you're divorcing a narcissist. Overall, financial abuse, it can look like a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, it is about power and control. A third common way that narcissists like to sabotage you is starting big fights before important events. So these can be special celebrations like a birthday or an anniversary. It could even be something like a job interview or a graduation ceremony. I have heard of narcissists that start problems right before their own wedding. That isn't unheard of. Maybe on their honeymoon. If there's something that's happening or coming up soon that's of value to you, it isn't uncommon for a narcissistic person to try and sabotage that and ruin it for you. This can also be really motivated by envy. If you have something really important coming up, like a job interview or a college interview, and the narcissist is envious of this, they can most definitely try to sabotage it for you. A fourth common tactic of sabotage is emotional blackmail. Now, this is an all-encompassing term for a lot of different things, and I do eventually want to make a video just on emotional blackmail because I think that form of manipulation deserves its own video. But the short version of emotional blackmail is using your emotions, guilt, or fear to try to control you. A lot of times this can look like threats. So the narcissist might make a threat that if you divorce them, you're never going to see your children again. Or they might threaten to disclose a secret that you told them in confidence, maybe something about your childhood, or maybe a past mistake. Even narcissists, they don't forget past mistakes. They are definitely scorekeepers when it comes to even perceived mistakes. I think one thing that a lot of people forget is there's no such thing as a perfect victim. Most of us have made mistakes in our past. Some of us might have varying different types of skeletons in our closet. And when you're in a relationship with somebody or have a close relationship with somebody, you want to be able to trust them with those things, right? You want to be able to tell them about your struggles. Mental health is another thing that can often come out. I'm going to tell people, about your mental health diagnoses, right? If it's anything along those lines, it's probably emotional blackmail. It's a very, very damaging, but it's very effective. It works very well because a lot of times these are big, vulnerable areas that this person is threatening to disclose. It's really awful. Oftentimes, a lot of emotional blackmail techniques will be utilized as part of the smear campaign, which is the fifth type of sabotage. The smear campaign. Now, smear campaigns can still happen when you're with a narcissist. However, they're definitely most common and most intense at the end of a relationship or shortly after the end of a relationship. And this is kind of a revenge tactic for the narcissist to try to ruin your reputation so they feel better about being left. Leaving a narcissist is one of the most ultimate, if not the most ultimate forms of rejection or narcissistic injury that a narcissist can sustain. So a smear campaign to try to regain some of their face or clear their name. And they can be really destructive. They really, really can be. I mean, some will go after your job. Some will try to contact your employers, your family members, really anybody that will listen to what they have to say, they will use as a weapon in their smear campaign. The smear campaign is basically spreading lies, misinformation, half-truths, distorted, twisted versions of things, things that are only their side of the story in order to devalue and demean and abuse you. It's a really awful thing. I did make a video completely and totally on smear campaigns, and I can definitely leave that link down in the description box below if you want to check out more information and also some strategies to help you get through a smear campaign if that's something that you're currently going through. Number 6 way that narcissists like to sabotage you is humiliating you in front of other people. Some narcissists will actively try to start fights or disagreements in front of mutual friends, families. This is kind of similar to ruining like family events and things. This can be like another way that can look. But it doesn't happen before the event. It happens during the event. They do this to try to look like the victim. They do this to try to destabilize you, to make you look like you're the crazy one. They do this hoping for a reaction, So they kind of cut deep. They say and they do things that feel very humiliating. So you react to them and you get upset. It's very mean. It doesn't feel good depending on where you're at in your healing journey. Sometimes people believe some of the things that are coming out, the narcissist is pointing out during these kind of humiliation episodes. So it can lead to a lot of blame and shame, feelings of guilt. It can really, really work to erode your self-esteem and self-worth, your value. This is not something normal people do. All of these things are not things that normal functioning people do. Narcissists are not normal functioning. They don't make a lot of sense. They are 100%, or at least close to 100% driven by their emotions at all times. These sabotages can take years to work through. They can be very, very traumatizing and hurtful and harmful to people. Sometimes the fear of an uptick or activation of these sabotages will keep people in relationships indefinitely with narcissists because they're worried about, this smear campaign and emotional blackmail, financial fears due to these efforts to sabotage. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, consider subscribing to my channel. I release new content every week. We'd love to see you in future videos. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.